Nerd Lag Game Club. Welcome to the Nerd Lag Game Club podcast, the podcast where we play games instead of reading books. I'm Corey, and I'm joined by 4 party members today. Lauren.
Hey.
Tonsa.
What's up?
Tony.
What's going on?
And Danboy.
Hello.
In this episode of the Game Club, we're making our journey to the border and playing 2021's Road 96. Road 96 was developed and published by DigixArt. I think we looked it up. That's how it said. DigixArt has released 2 other games besides this one. One is called Lost in Harmony, and the other is called 1111 Memories Retold. Before we get any further into Road 96, I want to give the spoiler warning, and I would recommend playing this before listening to this episode. This was our game for the month of August, and was Dan's pick, but I'm going to give a brief summary of the story for Road 96. Road 96 takes place back in 1996, in a fictional country that is very similar to the United States, and it follows a teen as they head to the border and meet different characters along the way. You get in shenanigans and you just kind of travel up to the border and try to cross over into another country. The world is very much like a dictatorship. The president wants to win the election to have endless amount of time to be president. So that's what you guys are going against. There's another candidate that you want to vote for, and then there's also like protests and things going along as you go through the game. Each time you get to the border, the next time around you play as a different teenager. So your main character changes throughout the game, but the characters that you meet along the way are very different. Well, they're the same, but they're different areas of the map and things along the way. That's all I have for story. Each episode, we break up the main points of the game between us, and starting with gameplay and mechanics, Tonsa is going to tell us about them for Road 96.
This game is sort of similar to like a walking simulator, but there's a lot of weird niche stuff. I mean, I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, so it's standard movement. Interact is just clicking, left click, right click zooms in. Gameplay, you have a lot of like mini games, like where you like physically play arcade games or like air hockey or drive a car. It's not really a mini game, but it feels like one. And then everything else is based off choices, interacting and finding and solving little puzzles. A lot. There's a lot more to this than just what I thought when I looked at it.
A comparison that I've seen a lot of people make is that it's similar to like a Telltale game in the way that it's told. Like the story decisions matter as you move along.
Open world though, like
Totally agree.
Telltale is like you're more linear, or at least you were back in the day. Like you kind of followed the path and chose the path. This is like you just walk around until you find something to interact with.
Yeah, as you like progress through the story, there's like items that you can only have access to as you unlock like skills from getting better relationships with the characters throughout the game.
Or finding them. Yeah, each playthrough you have a, like if you found like the lockpick in your first run, you have it the rest of the game.
Yeah,
You're not limited to. Huh?
I found the government badge in my first playthrough, so I was able to use that for the rest of the game, which it doesn't really have that much effect. Like I didn't really find them anyway.
I was gonna say,
I didn't find it until the end.
Like 1 or 2 of those, but it was also like the very last thing I got, so I might have like missed a bunch like earlier.
That's how mine was. I got it like at the end, so I wasn't able to use it very much. But the lockpick I got early on and was able to like find car keys and steal cars throughout the game to get to where I needed to go. For the most part of it.
Yeah, I found the car keys, and then like the first thing I think I got was the drink that gives you the extra.
Oh yeah, you get that from John.
Yeah, from
Papa
the extra health. But we'll dive more into this. But that's kind of the extent of the gameplay mechanics for the game. You just kind of move along into different areas as you travel to get to Road 96 and the border. But next up is going to be Lauren, and Lauren is going to tell us about the art for Road 96.
Okay. So, for the art, I'm not really sure how to describe it. Maybe like a paint style. That's the vibe I got from it, and then once I started actually digging a little deeper, that's how a lot of the art directors were kind of like describing it also. So I feel a little more confident in that, analysis. But it was described as having a small color palette when they were doing the concept art. So for, the backgrounds, the roads, the environment, they really don't have that much color. If you look, it's just shades of the same colors. When doing an interview with the CEO, and this dude's name, guy's name, I will never pronounce right, is Johan Fanese. He said with the art direction, he worked with different art directors just for the concept arts, and then he worked with 4 different artists just for the 3D art. He said the inspiration was a colorful, dystopian America stuck in the 90s in a collapsing economy, but in a very saturated treatment and very stylized to express more emotions with the characters with strokes of paint. So that's where I kind of felt more comfortable with saying it has a paint style. He also said that he likes the minimalism of pictures of places pictured by a photographer named Joel Sternfield. I've never heard of him, but he really appreciates that, and that's where he gets the idea of where you get dropped off in some of the locations, and there's a gas station in the distance. Those were actually from his photographs, so I thought that was pretty cool. When I seen another interview, they asked him, it was GameSpeed, they said, what style are you going for visually? He said, there's a big challenge for us as a team of only 15 people, which is pretty interesting. I didn't know the team was that small. They use motion capture with a very small setup. If you look at the making of, you'll see them doing it because each team member is playing a character in the game. So every Monday morning, they were doing motion capture. And then for the facial animations, they used the iPhone 10. Which was pretty crazy, and then they used that for the facial recognition and built on top of it in Unity. And then they recorded the actors delivering their lines, and they can capture the facial animation with the sound, so that was kind of their cheap and clever way to get it, which I thought was pretty cool. And then there was just a little bit, this person named Charles Bowery, artistic director of the game, he says they drew from the deserts of the American West, the mistreated forests of Russia, and the outdated architecture of the gas pumps and diners of the 60s. So slightly a little bit different than the CEO, because he said 90s and just pretty much America, and this guy is saying they had different parts of different places, but is still genuinely the same idea. So yeah.
Yeah, it does have that southwest from story summary, Southwest America, you're more deserty look to it with the scattered forest placed around. But I like the art style overall. I think it looks pretty good. But I didn't think about it when I was playing it, but it definitely does have that paint vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's got that kind of that. It's got kind of that generic Borderlands type of artwork. It's just
cell shaded.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shell shaded. Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that too. It's not what I expected it to look like, I guess. Because I didn't look into this at all before we played it. I was just okay, let's just play this completely blind.
Same.
But that's how I did it too.
But if that's it for art, we're going to move on to sound design and music, which Dan is going to tell us about.
You better have things to say
right.
this time, Dan. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Is there a lot? Anyways,
This is pretty much a musical production, Dan.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Anyways, so I couldn't find anything based on like a single, or I guess a single group of like people composing like the music for this game. I couldn't really find anything about like the game sounds specifically, only stuff about like the soundtrack.
Makes sense.
If that's okay to just bring up like the soundtrack stuff. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
that makes sense.
Anyways, yeah. Because I mean, this game primarily is just like the music and all that kind of stuff for the most part.
It's vibes.
Yeah, vibes. Exactly. You get it, Tonsa.
Road trip vibes.
So this is something I learned from this. The studio DigixArt, they teamed up with this label called G4F Records, and I guess they basically specialize in working on video games and like film, animation, that kind of stuff. Like they have like it's their own like music label basically of just people that compose for video games, film, that kind of stuff, which is kind of interesting. I didn't really know that there was a music label just for that. But they helped make it. I don't know if how much they really helped make it. I don't know if they just helped like with some of their kind of artists like help on it. I don't know if they just help like design it, like promote it, that kind of stuff.
They just bring in people because they've done soundtracks for other games.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that they've like helped with, like Sticks. Those two games.
Humankind that just came out.
Humankind. Yeah. Anyways, talking about Road 96, there's 28 different songs that kind of play as you kind of go on your little journey. Some of them are more techno-like, some of them are more folky, some of them kind of have a little bit of like a 90s kind of feel to them.
Pretty sure they're catered around the characters.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me.
Well, you find you'll find their track. Look, you find like
Alex. He had.
I think Alex was the only one that had like a song specifically for them. I don't know. It kind of just depends. Like, I feel like some of the characters had different kind of songs based on them, but none of them were really like named based on the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the cassettes that you found around those characters were like consistent with the other ones that you found around them, is what Tonsa was trying to say.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Was there more to that, Dan?
I don't think so. I kind of got distracted with my dog kind of barking at me.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise.
I think I kind of went over everything for the most part. I don't know.
I will say so far, I dig the soundtrack a lot. It's really good, and some of those songs play at like the perfect moments.
I really like the folk music that like plays.
Yeah,
that's a genre. About the one with like the singing one.
Yeah,
that's like this. Okay, that's like one of the main ones that always plays. I believe
Cocoon or whatever.
Yep, Cocoon, the road.
That's the main song.
Right? Yeah. It just fits. Well, there's also like the home call one, which that one I heard a lot.
Yeah, I heard that one a lot.
That one's like the most like generic sounding, like techno kind of sounding song that played a lot.
Yeah, overall I enjoyed the soundtrack. Like I said, I like the genre of folk music. So it kind of like it brought me in when it came to that soundtrack that would play, and like it opens with it and I'm like, okay, like I like this a lot.
Well, it's weird. When I think of video game music, it's weird because like there's not too many ones where I'm like, oh, I'll add this to like Spotify, because I'm not really into like just soundtracks from games. Like I know how you listen to like Zelda and stuff. But like, if I think of something, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do like a Tony Hawk. I might add something from there, but not usually like random games. I did it with Bastion. That one song I really liked the Bastion. I added it to Spotify.
Yeah, I have some video game music, but overall, I enjoyed the music with this. I think the sound design was also good. It's a lot of like walking through like like brush and in the sand and like opening and closing like lockers and doors and things like that, and it all like fits well. It sounds good. Like I never picked up anything or touched something and was like, what is that sound supposed to be? We'll finish up music here, like music and sound design, and we will open up the floor and just talk about anything that made an impact for us. If you don't know, this game has random events, so it's almost roguelite in that aspect. So things that I experienced, you guys may have not have done, and there's things that you guys have done that I probably didn't do. So we'll just open up the floor and talk about events that took place that we really liked. We'll kind of see who got them and experienced them along their journey to the border. So how about you open us up, Lauren? How about you just talk about one that you liked or thought was cool?
I don't like to go first. Put me on the spot.
I can go. I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you don't.
Yeah,
All right.
go ahead.
So I want to say like maybe in episode 4, maybe the fourth or third, the third or fourth time that I was trying to the border. That's when you unlock the rock in the caverns, like before you come up to the border, where you can leave money there. So I was like, oh, I can leave money there for the next time I come through in case I need money for that character, because every time you go to the border and you select how you cross the border, that selection is gone through that playthrough. Yeah. So I didn't realize that until after the second time I was there, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So I gotta conserve my money to make sure that I do this properly. And then the one time, all right, so when you're able to leave the money under that rock for other people, for other teams passing through to get to the border, I had like $160. I left 100 there. I thought that I would be able to cross. That was the time where I used the coyote. So I paid the coyote to go to take me across the border. Then you run into this other kid who doesn't have any money. So I pay for him to come across. But then once we get up to the border, you have to pay off a guard. So you needed more money. And I was like, son of a bitch, why did I leave all that money there? So then we didn't have enough money. So she leaves you. And then me and the kid just run past the guard. And I choose to help him over the wall rather than me jumping over the wall and leaving him behind. And I got captured. So that was the only time I got captured and didn't make it across the wall. Other than the other time that me and Corey were talking about because we both ran out of stamina.
I used the same coyote and I had the money, so like she got us all the way to the wall. And then somebody alerted the guards, so then the guards like drive by in this Jeep and they fucking gank her. So they shoot her, take her down, and then the same scenario happens where like you can help the kid over or you can just help yourself. So I helped myself. And
yeah.
yeah, and
I did.
And then they gunned down that kid too. But I made it across. So that was an interesting little outcome. I didn't think we were like everyone was gonna die.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so she lived in mine because I didn't have enough money to get her across. But the other kid got across, but I went to jail. That was how I found out what happens when you go to jail.
I never used that option.
No,
I messed up in the dialogue, and she was like, "Get out of here!" And I was like, "Oh, okay." It's like, I probably could have used that, but alright, cool. And she never let me after that either.
Okay.
Oh, see, that happened to me where she told me to go, and then like 2 or 3 times later, she let me do it again.
Nope.
But
for
I
me,
didn't
she
have
wasn't
like
even
nearly
there.
enough money. I had like $50.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so dramatically different how like sometimes you'll end up getting there and you'll have like at one point I had like $250.
Yeah, I
Right,
had that
right,
much.
right.
Like the one time where I went to like the party with Sonia and I did the whole like ball in the cup thing. I ended up with like $300 at the end of that. And I was
Right,
like, oh,
right, yeah.
Where'd you
cool.
turn in those tokens?
Oh, to the main guy over by the whole throwing thing.
Oh, I
Yeah.
never turned them in.
Or I guess kicking. I guess you like kick the
can,
balls at the
the kick.
cans.
Yeah, we kicked the cans. Yeah.
with the
Yeah, but
soccer
you just
ball.
turn in like the 3 and then he would just give you like a different colored like ribbon, and that was kind of it.
Okay, so
I don't
Yeah,
know
you
if there was
didn't
more
get-
to it.
You didn't
I
get
don't know,
any
I had
money. from
4.
doing
Yeah,
it,
like I had like four tokens or something, 4 or 5. I can't remember. And I was like, I'm not even gonna turn them in. I don't even know where.
Yeah.
You just keep running the Jared or whatever the fuck his name is.
See, I only ran into him once.
Oh, he was like he just kept
Really?
popping up there.
Yeah.
See, I ran into Jared 3 times, and I found out his backstory on why he does what he does.
Oh,
Yeah.
you like ran into him once in the story, or that the party?
Yeah,
would
damn.
I would
Only
assume-
once at the party.
Oh, okay. Only once at the party. Okay. I was
That's
about to say because like it kind of like puts you through that path.
Yeah. Yeah, I just meant like once at the party.
Okay.
That's-
Okay.
I seen him like 4 times at the party.
Yeah, same.
Where
Yeah.
he's like he just like shows up like when you get the wallet, and then he at one point he
See,
was
that
like,
was the
next
only
to
time I saw him.
He was next to
Drinks.
like the bar thing, like you
Yeah,
said,
when you
like
went to
drink
go get the
tent,
drinks. Yeah.
and then I don't remember where he
By
was
the
at.
arcade.
By the arcade was one,
Yeah, then I think that might be it, at least for me.
and I want to say he was like over by like the soccer ball can kicking game.
Yeah, in the back
Maybe.
left corner over that way. Like in
Yeah.
that like little pathway. Yeah.
But I was like waiting for him to like make a move, and then they kind of like that part they make it suspenseful because like Sonya like disappears, and you're
Right,
like,
right.
oh shit, like have you seen Sonya? And they're like, no, we haven't seen her. And then you like run to the next person, you're like, have you seen
And then-
Sonya?
Jason.
And then you go into the middle of the party and you just start yelling Sonya.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah,
Yeah, that made me think of that.
but overall, I kind of liked dealing with Jared because it was always like, is he going to kill me?
So my
hated
first
it.
run, like it's like you run into him. I'm in the cab with him, and
Yes.
there's like nonchalant going on. And then there's one part he's like, oh, I gotta change a flat tire. Obviously, I know what's going on. And it's like, do you leave? And I was like, I'll just wait. Like I'll let him kick the shit out of this guy, and I'll wait and see what happens. Kill him.
Killed you?
Yeah,
killed
right
you?
away.
Yeah, no,
Right
I
away.
left. I left.
No, I
had
didn't
that-
leave. I just sat
I got
there.
out of the
I was
car
like,
and ran
maybe
away.
if I don't run, I'm okay.
I had already pissed him off enough.
Oh no, I was good. Like I like played it cool.
Yeah, I played it cool too. And then I
don't
ran.
know how
because
I
got
knew.
the chance.
Well, you because does the game start the same for everybody?
No.
It doesn't. No, we
No.
were talking. We were
So
talking
I
about this
knew he was the
earlier.
killer early, like first.
I had no idea. I didn't know until like the 3rd or 4th episode.
Oh no, I knew the very first thing I did. Just because the best crew, Stan and Mitch.
Well,
We're
I
like,
didn't.
we're looking
Dude,
for a
thank
taxi
you.
driver, and like it's him. It was the
Yeah,
first
no, I
mission.
won't-
It was the first thing I played. Is driving the motorcycle with them, cruising through while they're looking for the taxi.
Yeah, no, that was not. That was like episode 3 or 4 for me.
That
I
was the very
I
first
never
thing
even got that Stan and Mitch mission because I didn't meet Stan and Mitch until episode 3.
No,
What?
I met everybody my first one. I ended up dying too.
The only person I didn't meet my first time was Fanny, like the cop.
Same. I didn't meet Fanny until
Weird.
like episode 3.
But I knew like Jared was this weirdo because the part right before I got into like the taxi, I was with Alex and he was like, "Oh, you probably shouldn't use taxis. There's this weird killer guy using taxis." And then sure enough, I got a taxi because he orders me a taxi.
Yeah, because he's like,
Right,
I got free vouchers. It's like, well,
Oh,
you
yeah.
told me not to
Yeah,
get
You know,
in.
when I got that,
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm gonna take the bus. I'm gonna take the bus right here.
Yeah.
But my game opened when Alex was driving like a bus, and I had to get in the back seat and adjust the antennas so that he could like relay information to Fanny about Stan and Mitch.
No.
Yeah, that's a crazy opener too.
Mine was Papa Bear. I meet Papa Bear after
Doing
that.
the first one where you did like the smoothie.
Yeah, where you do the drink for him, and he gives you the recipe, and then it gave you extra 2 stamina.
Yeah.
Or
What
extra 4 stamina, whatever it was.
What did
It's
you
two.
open up with, Lauren?
I opened up with where you meet John and you do the soccer ball, like kicking it, and then you sit on top of like a van or whatever, and you guys look at like the stars and stuff like that. It was very mellow.
That was your
That was
opening to the
episode
game.
6.
That's
Yeah.
That was episode 6 for me.
Yeah, that was
See, that
the
one
very
I didn't have at
opening.
all.
Oh, you didn't. That was like episode 2.
Yeah, I didn't have that one. My game opened with me driving, and then Mitch and Stan end up in my car, and then I do a game show.
Yeah, that part's
That's how
so
my
good.
game
I
opened.
just
Yeah, that part's awesome.
that's,
Can you imagine opening the game like that? Dan, that must have been crazy.
Yeah, it was. I was like, what the fuck? Game show lights? I'm like looking around. I'm like, where are these lights coming from?
Who is there right answers to that?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. I got him right.
You got them right.
Yeah.
Wow, I missed every question that they asked.
Oh, no. They were literally like, "Oh, well, I guess you're his partner now." And he's like,
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
because you needed they were fighting and arguing on why they should be Robin or whether they should not be Robin.
You were trying to pass Mitch's like robbery quiz to be his partner.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
failed.
yeah, I
Yeah.
passed it, and then by the end, he's like, "You know what, Stan? I just can't imagine Robin anybody with anybody else but you." So they end up not taking me, but they let me go.
Yeah, they like.
Oh,
beat
see,
each
they
other.
stole my car.
Yeah,
They
stole
stole
car,
my-
stole your money.
Yeah, they stole my car
Yeah.
and my money. Yeah.
I was no car, no money after that, and I was like, oh. But I thought like
Yeah,
everything
they-
was just like wrong because like no matter what I answered with, it was like
Yeah,
nope.
no matter
Yeah.
what. I just recently did that one, so like, it's like I'm fresh in my brain. I've done everything else. I've seen them every episode, and it's like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. I was like, you
Yeah.
said this the last time I seen you.
Okay, so out of the 6 characters that you meet, who was your guys' least favorite?
What's his name? Jared? Creepy guy?
Jared the cabbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated him.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I liked all of them, to be honest.
If I had to pick, probably Fanny.
I don't know.
Okay.
See, I was thinking maybe Sonia.
That's what I'm
maybe.
saying. I
Those
did
were
not like
always fun
Sonia
though.
whatsoever. It was because of her voice. Her on camera voice, fine. But when she turns to that hick voice, I was like, what the fuck is
Ow.
this? I can't do this. Like, this is just stupid. I hate her. Like, just stop talking. And I dealt with her the most. Like, it was ridiculous. And then
I didn't
when you
mind the
find out
voice.
that
I just hated that she was like an asshole.
Yeah.
Only cared about like
she's like
herself.
an asshole, arrogant, drunk, rich person. And then you find out that Mitch and Stan are her brothers, and they're not hicks. They don't have hick voices. It made no sense.
Yeah, I think Fanny for me was just like, I don't know. She just kind of seemed generic. Like she's like obsessed with Alex, Like,
I mean, that
which it makes sense, but I'm just kind of like, all right. Like, you don't have any other characteristics about yourself. Like, you do everything for Alex. Like, it's all about Alex. I'm like, okay. Like, you're kind of just like a boring character for me. So that was probably the reason I didn't really care for her too much.
I don't really have a least. Like, everybody was like, okay, I guess.
Well, and then Sonia was like, she like tried to get you to do the wrong things, and then if you did what she told you to do, she would like berate you on doing those wrong things. Like with the driver. Who's her driver? Adam? Was Adam the driver?
Adam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love
Adam.
him. Love Adam.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Right? But like when you're in the hotel because you get stopped there and you have to bring her up the champagne and stuff, and then she like gets you to she forces you to use the camera to spy on the brigades, and then they toss them over that you choose whether you give them the camera or you let them drop Adam off of the roof. It's like, and then she berates you for whichever decision you make. Like I would listen to her. I said, well, Adam, I guess you're going to fall because I wasn't giving up the evidence. And then he still didn't die. He just come limping back into the room with a broken leg. And then they start yelling at each other and you leave.
Yeah, I disposed of the camera. I was like, do not
Yeah.
hurt Adam. It's funny because there is another character, which is Zoe, which none of us have ever, like, we haven't brought up at all.
Right.
And
she's
Kind of
probably my favorite.
forgetful, man.
She was my
I
favorite.
loved Zoe.
I-
I
like-
Yeah, she was
absolutely
my
loved
favorite.
I
Same,
guess out
same.
of the ones I've done, because I didn't finish too much. It's just like her. I mean, like her, like everything with her was good. It was like story motivating, but everybody else had like funny quirks or weird shit going on.
See, my first time dealing with Zoe was at the trailer park.
Yeah, same.
Same.
That was good. Really
Same.
good.
You get to play the fucking her trumpet, and you do like
That was
little
really
mini
good,
game
yeah.
for it. I
I
love that.
I guess I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
That part's really good. Everybody else is so weird that she just seems normal. Like same with Fanny.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You run to Alex, he's like making a fucking bomb. Like
Right.
doing some
Or
weird
making
shit.
a video game on like this
Yeah.
tiny little computer.
kicked his ass in tanks.
Yeah, and
Me
then you're like,
too.
hey man, you should probably call that like a laptop. He's like, nah, it's fucking lame.
Yeah.
Did you guys play Connect 4 with Zoe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Computer. Yeah.
Like, that was pretty cool. And then that part's like interesting because then like you guys get pulled over and the cop comes up and like the two like adults that are driving you are like, hey, like don't talk. And then of course
Yeah.
Zoe's like,
Nah, but
yeah,
She's
right.
a rebel. Yeah.
And then
and I
you get
jumped
like
in.
yeah, you get like dragged out and like she like gets arrested and then they just kind of leave you there.
Nope, I got
Yeah.
arrested.
Oh, you also got arrested?
I have
I got
not.
left there. I got
Yeah.
left there.
Yeah, because originally I was like, oh, like, like be quiet, all this. But then she went out and then it was like, save Zoe or leave her. And I was like, save her. And then I got arrested for jumping in.
Well, I
Oh,
tried to
see, I didn't get arrested.
Yeah,
I got
let
They,
it
they
go.
arrested you, but they left you there.
Oh no, I got arrested. It literally popped up on my map with big handcuffs. Like my
Yeah.
journey was
Oh.
done there. I got
Oh
arrested.
shit.
Did you? So you must not have gotten the lucky thing from Sonia then yet.
No. Because this
Okay.
this was like episode 2.
Okay. Because I got the lucky thing from Sonia, and the cops were like, "Oh, this is your lucky day. We're gonna let you go. We only wanted her."
Yeah, and you just get left there.
Yeah.
Nope. I got arrested.
Huh. Interesting.
But I mean, we could go on forever about this because like there's just
Right.
so many scenarios. I feel like,
Yeah.
there was one that you do with Fanny where you're at like a motel and you're trying to get information about who's driving the transmitter,
Mhm.
and you're like,
Right.
she gives you like this board with all these images of people, and you have to go to each
And
motel
you know
door.
instantly who it is.
Well, yeah. At that point, I already knew. He told me like, "Hey, it's gonna be our little secret." I'm like, oh, "Okay."
Yeah.
That's our secret.
But you go to each door of the motel, and the person comes out, and they'll tell you like some characteristic about who did it, and you can put the information down correctly to narrow it down to John, or you can put it in incorrectly and just have some like random person. But if you do it correctly, as you head back to her motel room, the clerk at the motel is standing there and she's like, "Hey, like I'm part of the brigades, like you don't want to do this." And I was like, "You know what? You're right." So then I skew all my results and walk in there
I
and
did
she's
the
like,
same thing.
"Is this the information you got?" And I'm like, Yep, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the information I got." And then he pulls up into the parking lot and the clerk
Yeah.
like runs out and she's like, "You got to go, like get out of here." So he takes off and Fanny turns around like cuz she's on the phone with Alex and she goes, "Who was in the semi truck?" And you're like, "I don't know."
I didn't even reply. I just stared at her. That was like my most used choice.
But Dan didn't even get that one.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
Really?
have that one at
Oh,
all.
I framed some bald, like mustache old guy.
I didn't get that one either.
Wow. Okay.
But then-
Well, I had the same exact scenario. I did the same thing that Corey did. I chose those same exact choices.
Yeah, and then I think Dan and Lauren, I don't know if you got it, Tonsa, but there's one with Fanny where like she's changing a tire in the rain or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get that one at all when they were like talking about it. I
My
was like,
game kind of broke on that one. It weirdly got like super like frame rate issues when you're changing the tire.
Same.
I didn't get that one. I got
yeah.
one where she pulls you over, and then people drive by, start shooting, and
you
she tells them to
murder
start
people.
driving. Yeah, and then you fucking kill people, and she says, "You gotta get out of here. This is I made the wrong choice in letting you do this. Just
Yeah.
go."
Hers are kind of interesting though because in the one time in the bus, you like kind of harass her and she pulls a gun out on everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
hey,
I was
man.
never in a bus. I was never in a bus.
Oh, you didn't get that one.
It's pretty intense. Like she has like a kid, like a teenager, and she's like gonna take him in or whatever. And the people in the bus are like, "You know what's gonna happen to him?" And she's like, "I know, but like this is like my job. This is like what I need to do." And they're like, "You don't have to. Like you could just drop him off." And then like you kind of keep like egging her on. And then she pulls a gun out and she starts swinging it around the bus, and you're like, "Oh man!" And then you're like you can keep like antagonizing her, or you can like kind of defuse the situation. But I was like, I thought this was going to be a peaceful bus drive because I think this is right after I got out of the taxi with Jared. Like it was like back to back like stressful situations. And I'm like, this character is destined to die.
My choice with every character was to always be like rebellious or not reply to anything. Like just the ... or okay. Like just I don't know. It was pretty fun.
Did you
'Cause, like,
guys do
I
the
never-
one with Stan and Mitch where you help them like rob the
Yeah.
Yes.
the restaurant,
Yes, I love
like
that
the fast
one.
food chain?
Yes.
I never got
And
that
you walk
one.
around with a piggy bank, and
Come
you
on,
say, "Give
Richard.
me your money, give me your money." Yeah.
Richard, I know you're having heart problems, man, but you should give me your fucking money.
I need you to
Yeah, you like
He's having
walk
a
around the
panic attack.
restaurant. You walk around a restaurant with a little piggy bank, and you have to like get everybody's like money into it. And the one lady is like, "Oh, like I have a plan. Like I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna scream, and then whenever I do, you run over, you tackle the guy with the shotgun, and then she gets up, she does it, and I just stand there. I'm like, "Yeah, fuck these people. Man. I love Stan and Mitch. I ain't doing that. I ain't no
Yeah.
snitch."
Yeah, same.
I never got
And
that
Mitch
one.
just walks up like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you the beast," and just hits her over the side of the head, well, the back of the head.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, you like get to a crow. Yeah, a crow.
Man, I didn't get like any of the cool
Their
stuff with
missions
Stan
are
and
so
Mitch.
good. They're so
I love them. They were my favorites.
I got
like
the
we get
Yeah.
kidnapped at their hideout or whatever.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the hideout, you fall in
Yeah.
on them. Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna show
didn't-
you the beast.
I didn't get any good ones with them. I was so upset. Like my game like did not generate those for me. Like I got the one where you're watching the cameras for them.
Yeah.
And then I got the game show, and I got where you have to throw the money at the cop car.
And that's it?
Yeah, that's the only 3 I got.
Damn.
Man, I had like 5 or 6 with them. I 100%ed them, and
Yeah,
I 100%ed Zoe. Everybody
those-
else was under.
Those were my lowest. Stan and Mitch was my lowest
Okay.
percentage, and then Zoe was 100%, and John was 100%, and then everyone else was like in like the 60s to 80 range.
Okay.
Same. Yeah, I maxed out Zoe and Stan and Mitch.
Same.
Anything else, guys? Or do we want to talk about how long it took us to finish this game?
I
Yeah.
think we
we
got a good
covered
feel
enough,
of the
like,
game.
Yeah.
I'm about to say we can keep going.
There
It's
is
gonna
just
be
there's
long.
so
Yeah.
much to this game. It's definitely something you should just play.
I feel like
Yeah.
we should at least go over like crossing the border at some point, because I feel like we didn't really touch base on like what that looks like or anything like that. You know?
I mean, Tony kind of described
well,
it at one point.
Yeah,
with the
I described
coyote.
it.
Okay. Yeah.
There's other
Smuggling
options.
yourself in a truck.
Yeah, so I got yourself in the
there's
truck.
Definitely.
I took the
yeah.
government test,
The same.
Yes,
That
I
was the
did
first
too.
one I did.
and I passed that.
Same.
You can
Smart
climb the
guys.
mountain, like the peak.
Yeah, that was the easiest one, but it just took forever.
You just have to have
were
stamina.
walking up a hill. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just took forever though.
I had max stamina going into it, and I had a granola bar.
Hell yeah.
And so I was like, I think I can do it this time around. The one that I didn't get to mess with was the maintenance tunnel that you can like hack into.
I didn't do that one either.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I
one either.
did that one.
Yeah.
So is that one a trap like they all say that it is?
Which one? Wait, what? The
It-
tunnel?
Yeah, it's
It
like the maintenance
depends.
tunnel.
Oh.
It's
Oh,
one of those ones where you have to have like the right skills and you have to do it quickly.
Yeah,
Or
I
you
didn't.
will fail. I literally
oh.
made it to the end and made it out with 1 second. That was
Yeah,
it. 1
same,
second.
because I didn't have like hacking or lockpicking, and like the guard, like you come out right to guards basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you-
see, I didn't have any guards.
Well,
See, I
you
didn't
go
do that
into
one
those
at all,
rooms and
so-
stuff?
Since I hacked mine, the guard was stuck in a room and I ran past the room. And he was
Okay.
banging on the door like, you better let me out.
Okay, maybe I hacked then. Maybe I had hacking at that point. I don't remember. I just remember the one door was like locked. The guard was there.
Yeah.
Did you?
I mean, I don't
Right.
know if you guys noticed, but you could run, which I
Yeah.
didn't know you could run.
I
always
I
just
shift
like,
in every like I hold sprint in every game, man.
Yeah,
was-
same.
Did you guys do the one with Zoe where like the semi truck
Yeah,
hits the
I-
wall and then
Yeah,
I didn't
I
make
say
it.
I chose to save Zoe.
I
So
saved
that
her
she lived and
too.
everything.
Same.
And then at the end
Same.
of the game, she fucking died anyways.
No, she didn't.
It
Did
depends.
she?
My
Those are the
game, she
different
did.
endings, man.
There's different
Oh.
In
endings.
my game,
okay.
she did.
Same.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Because mine, in my pulls, Tyrak was at like 65%, Flores was at 35%, and the Rebellion was at like 80%.
Yeah, I think we must have got the
Mine
same
doesn't
ending
equal
then. Because like, so at the end, did you have like he gets overthrown, Flores wins the election, he gets tried for his like crimes and put to prison?
No.
No.
My ending was he won the election.
Boo.
Everybody at the wall rebelled because he won. And then every people on the other side of the wall from the other country joined in the rebellion at the wall. And they all started fighting, and there was just a bunch of teens that were running across, and they just all opened fire because Tyrek said he slammed his hand on the desk and said, "Open fire on all, kill them all. Whoever rebels, kill them all." And then everybody died.
Yeah, but then
I mean,
after that,
why-
Zoe says like, the rebellion lasted for a few more weeks or whatever, and then it tells you like what happens to Petria. From what I read, there's 3 options. Basically, like Tyrak stays in control, and like he makes sure that
In my Tyrak must have stayed in control then, because I don't remember him losing an election or him being brought forth any charges.
because
Well, they tell you that after all that stuff happens, it's just like showing a picture of the wall and it explains what's going on.
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
Tyrak stays in charge. Then he passes a law where he can have as many terms as president as he wants.
that's the one I got then. That's the one I got.
And
I
then
remember the as many terms as he wanted.
and then
Yeah,
Petria becomes even worse.
Yeah.
right.
And then there's like the neutral ending, which is like something about the rebellion like lasted a few more weeks and then it like died out. And then Flores ends up winning the election, but then like people aren't for it. So kind of like you're right back where you were, but with just a different president.
Just a different dictator, pretty much.
And then the good ending is the rebellion like blows up. It like explodes. Like everyone rebels across the country that on election day. Flores wins the election. Everyone's like supports her, and Tyrak gets tried for his crimes, and he gets put into prison. And like like it's like, oh, this is the first time Petria has any signs of hope. Like,
and Flores also like dismantles the wall.
yeah. So I think that's the good ending.
Yeah, I didn't get the good ending. I got the sad, depressing ending.
Yeah, because you support Tyrak.
I did not support Tyrak. I supported the rebellion.
Mhm.
That's probably
How many
why.
vandal posters did you vandal?
A whole
Yeah.
bunch.
Doubt it.
Anytime I seen
Try
him, I did it.
Flores's.
Oh yeah, probably the blue one.
But all right. What is everyone's time to completion? I finished this game in 7 hours and 45 minutes.
On Steam, it says 7.1 hours.
Lauren?
6.5 hours.
Dan?
I had 7 hours and 2 minutes.
What do you think you would have been at, Tonsa?
If
If you went through another episode, probably another hour, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. I'm probably at like 5.5, 6. So yeah, probably.
So about like 7.
Yeah. And this is the only game I didn't finish because I got sick.
Yeah, if you can't tell by his nasally like voice,
Yeah.
he's been battling COVID. So, yeah. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we move into the next section?
I think we're good.
We're good
now.
No more tangents.
Yeah, we're good. No, we're
No,
good.
but I did want to say that I'm the only one I think that played on a Steam Deck, and this is the first time that like I thought the game was really good on the Steam Deck, but I think it would have been better on my PC. Only because of so much like open world like art. I think it would have looked better on a bigger screen.
Also, it's designed for your widescreen. It tried to use both my monitors.
Oh, well then, yeah, see, I think it would have done better on my PC. I would have
big
liked it
giant curved monitor.
Yeah.
But all right, so each episode we go around and find out if we would recommend the game and why or why not. So starting with Tony, this episode, would you recommend this game and why or why not?
I totally would not. Not for the price. I hate Telltale games, and this was essentially a Telltale game, and it was over $20 with tax.
But what if
And
it
it
was
only
on
took, like-
Game Pass?
I don't have Game Pass. Still would have been at least $15 a month to play it.
No, still no.
So, still no, I didn't care for. I don't like Telltale games. I didn't know it was a Telltale game when going into it, and then I started playing it as a Telltale game. I hated it, but I still finished it.
What about you, Dan?
I would recommend it. I had lots of fun. I felt like the characters, they had their difference enough in their like personality, where it was kind of like entertaining dealing with the different characters, you know. But overall, like I thought the game was good.
Okay, Lauren.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I enjoyed it a lot. Like Dan, I like that all the characters had really good personalities. They were super different. So that made it really entertaining. There's a ton of like extra stuff you can do, like the games, and it's nice that everyone's playthrough is different. So if anybody else plays it, you can discuss it and they might have stuff that you didn't get and vice versa. So worth it. I paid $10 for it on Steam through Fanatical, I think it was. Even though it was on Game Pass, I would if I had played it on PC, I would have just played it on Game Pass for free, but I played it on the Steam Deck, so I paid that $10 and I think it was worth it for me.
What about you, Tonsa? I know you didn't finish it, but what are your thoughts on it?
Well, even though after we all talk about it, I still want to go through and finish it. Like, it's hooked me that far. You know what I mean? The characters are all zany and weird, and your wild like adventures, and I like just kind of being like nonchalant about every action I picked, and seeing how far it got me. And so far, it's did me pretty well. So it's getting murdered that first run. But yeah, I recommend it. Even at I think $20, I think 7-8 hours a game. Your playthrough is always going to be different from somebody else's. We kind of proved that here. I think it'd be worth. It says 1996 on Steam. I think that's a good point, like a good price point. I think. And if you're into this, like the story based, like Telltale's, like Heavy Rain, or playing any type of like movie, this is definitely up that alley.
I would also recommend it. I enjoyed it. I really like the soundtrack, like folky music, the techno music. I just thought it vibed well with the game. I enjoyed making the decisions, and some of the character like moments are really cool. Like some of them are just kind of like but like there's a lot of really fun ones and interesting ones. So I would recommend it. It is physical for like $30, which is interesting that it got a physical release. But yeah, I would recommend playing it. I enjoyed my time with it and kind of burned through it once I started it because I was like, man, I'll just do one more episode, and then I was like, I'll just do one more episode, and then the next thing I knew, I was done with the game. So overall, yeah, I would recommend it. Towards the end of each episode, we dive into the review page of Steam and read some reviews for the game we're playing in a segment called Good, Bad, and Funny. So for every game, we go into the reviews and find one good review, one bad review, and a review that we find funny, and then we go on a tangent if there's any other ones that we want to read. This is usually Tony's section, so Tony, do you want to start out by giving us a good, bad, and a funny review?
Sure. For the funny one, when I was first going through these, I found this one where it just says Papa Bear, and then they like did a bunch of letters and made like a figure. At first, I was like, why did they make like an alien figure? But then as I went back and looked at it a second time, you can see that they made Papa Bear's face. And I'll send that in our group chat so you see what I'm talking about. But I thought that was pretty interesting and a funny one because that's all it says is Papa Bear and then this image that somebody made. For a good one, and that person had played the game for 6.8 hours. For this one, two good ones. Don't say Lola's name ever, other than that great game. And they played the game for 8.7 hours. And then somebody else that played the game for 6.3 hours said 10 out of 10, probably my favorite story game of the year. And then to the bad one. The game is fun, but the ending is BS. And then everything else after that is literally redacted. And then it says at the bottom, by the way, soundtrack is a killer. And they played the game for 9.1 hours.
They had a pretty good amount of time with it. I did not look at any reviews this week, this episode, so I don't have any to read.
There's one that just says quack. If you
Oh yeah, the Alex
I like that
segment.
part because that's all I answered with. And then there's one that
Same.
just Stan and Mitch.
Yeah, Stan Mitch.
And then there's bad ones. That one was like when you say that this is a Telltale game, it means it. There's no real choice or substance to your choices. It says it's basically linear, and I was like, like you're all you're heading to the road, like. But that's basically all the bad ones. Oh man, there's
Yeah,
one that
there's
says
very
dialogue is
little
so
bad
cringe.
ones.
I'll take that back. That's the worst review. Fuck that person. I like the dialogue. It's so weird.
There's this good review that I like. It says recommend. That says went from being robbed to stealing cars to eating rotten food from trash cans to aiding a revolution to being almost set on fire by a serial killer and also playing air hockey. It's good fun.
Yeah, that's what sways me on this game so much. It's like, where the fuck was I going half the time? Like I was just having fun along the way.
Right.
Any other ones?
No, like real short. Like I usually just try to pick short ones. A lot of the short ones are just like Stan and Mitch or
There was
amazing.
one that was like a -1. And like this one says like not recommended 38.7 hours on record. So this person has played this game a lot, or I don't know, they just left it on. But it just says in quotes, choices matter, and then lol. And it's like, but they do. Like, we can tell just between all of us that they do matter.
This review is just negative for Alex. Alex is the worst, and the devs lied about like features or something, and then it was like he has a IQ of 180 home slice, constantly bragging. He's like, somehow I didn't know he was adopted despite him being Asian and his adopted mom being black. And then he's just like, Alex is the worst.
That person did not comprehend anything about the game, apparently.
I don't know. And then the final part is like, the game is not as RNG as advertised. I guess I don't know how this game was advertised, but
Yeah, I don't know.
every other bad review is like real long and like basically just talks about like kind of what Tony said, like if how it compares to Telltale kind of games, and if like it's just like that. But I like all the good ones. We'll mention Stan and Mitch though.
Yeah. I wish,
This
like I
one
said, I wish I got more Stan and Mitch.
This one just says recommended. Thank you guys for the tips. I can finally escape Russia. That's it.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
This review's
It's fun
kind of
Stan and
cool.
Mitch.
Well, it's would highly recommend getting stoned and playing this game.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's one that just says I cried. That's it. That's all.
For
It's
what?
Good review. I cried. I don't know.
So weird.
They probably got my ending.
Or John got murdered.
A lot of reviews that I'm seeing here, it's just Road 69.
Yeah, I seen
Road
that.
Yeah.
96.
Oh, so clever.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're good, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're good.
All right, so I have the pick for the month of September. So I'm going to tell everyone what game we're playing and why I chose it. So I picked the game Front Mission Evolved, which is a Square Enix mech story-based game. It's a lot of like mech action things, but it has a story from Square Enix that is very good. I finished this back in like 2012, so it's been a long time since I've played it. So I kind of want to see if it holds up, but I also think it's a good story, but it's also very different than anything we've played so far, in the aspect that we will be in mechs and learning about each other.
Nice.
In that. So it is $10 on Steam. That is the only place I've really seen it. I don't think we can get it anywhere else, but currently $9.99. I think that's kind of where it just sits at, is $10. But yeah, should be an interesting playthrough. Get in some mechs and destroy some shit.
Oh yeah.
This is my Gundam lifestyle or something.
Your Gundam lifestyle.
Yeah.
Your Gundam style. Oh,
I guess.
Um,
Not work.
any feedback on that or?
I mean, I know of the game, so like going
I've
into
never
it,
heard of it.
it's.
I don't
It was-
know much about it, so
I
we'll
remember
see.
it on the 360. So it should be interesting. I wonder how well it hold up. I see some things about the port not being the best. So
Well, I guess we'll see.
yeah, I'm only gonna go into. I probably wouldn't buy any of the DLC.
Yeah, I don't plan on doing any of that.
What do you mean you don't want the weapon pack 2, weapon pack 2 again, and then weapon pack 3? Oh wait, no, the Wasner pack. Never mind, I can't read.
All right. So great. I had a lot of fun today talking about Road 69 on NLGC. But before we go, we wanted to share where you can
What?
find us online.
You thought you were clever, huh?
Didn't think I was clever. Just gonna
I
see
hope
if you
have
guys
that written
acknowledge.
down. I hope you have that written down before the review. Like,
I just wanted to see if you guys would catch on to it.
You did. Dan, I think, broke.
Oh, I did. Of course, I did.
Yeah, this is where we're gonna put your plugs, anyways. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I just thought it was a good little flip flop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
First, we have a YouTube channel called Nerdlag where we'll be uploading some great content. So make sure to subscribe for the latest videos. We have a Facebook page at Nerdlag Game Club. Make sure to like the page so you can get the latest news about the podcast. You can also find us over on Twitter at Nerdlag, where we share some of the latest gaming news and stuff we find interesting. And lastly, we have a Discord at Nerdlag where you can talk to us in voice chat and join in some discussion about everything nerdy like video games, anime, movies, and chat with like-minded people. If you'd like to join, ask for an invite. We also want to thank everyone that tuned in for this episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you share it with your friends. And also follow us on Spotify. It really helps.
On to the final credits. At the end of each episode, we just take a few minutes to talk about what we've been doing, what games we've been playing, and any gaming news that has stood out to us. So we're just going to take a couple minutes, go around, talk about anything we've been doing or whatever, and, we'll see how this goes. Anything you guys want to talk about?
Harry Potter got pushed back till February. We actually have a date now, so sometime in
Yeah.
February.
You weren't in the
So-
last episode. I think we talked about that.
I wasn't in the mini one.
Yeah,
we
So I was
talked
in the
about
last big
that.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully
It sucks.
it's still good. I mean,
You guys gonna buy that
Yeah.
special edition?
I kind of want it.
No,
It's
I
just
ain't
so
buying no
expensive.
special edition.
Yeah, it's
It's like $300.
yeah, it's a floating wand, dog.
Yeah, I want a floating wand.
Yeah, Corey, I was gonna tell you if you want for your birthday for an early birthday present, I'll buy it for you.
This seems to be a trend.
Damn, you lucky bastard.
Well, it's not my fault. Every collector's edition you want comes out a month before your birthday. I
Yeah.
can't help it.
But it's just funny because it's like if you do Hogwarts this time, last year was Near Replicant. I got the
Yeah.
white box, and then it was the worst experience ever with Square Enix.
Yeah, I will never buy something from Square Enix's website ever again.
You did the Apocalypse edition for Darksiders 3, which was
Yeah.
also a terrible experience.
Yeah.
It was. But
Yeah,
Amazon gave us the hookup though. One of his statues came in broken, and they just sent me a whole nother $400 Apocalypse edition, and we're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, all right, keep them both. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. Outside of that, still playing the GameCube games. I'm currently playing Madden 07, and I just want it to be over.
So how long are you doing? Are you just doing one season?
I just did the
With the sports
Superstar.
Okay.
Um,
The Superstar.
Yeah, the Superstar, and then so I play those downs as him, and then like you also have to play the offense, which is kind of annoying. But I figured the Bears win the Super Bowl. I see what my stats are at the end because I had drafted the Bears, and then I'll count that one as beat and move on to the next thing.
Gotcha.
Thanks. A raft update. We still have not put it.
Episode wrap update.
One day, Tonsa.
I thought like this week, since like at the start of this, like we get like testing positive for COVID, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play WoW. I'm gonna do this leveling up, and I'll play the podcast game, and then it progressively got sick and sick and sicker and sicker.
Yeah,
it sucked.
That one day you were like you were just out
to the point where I went. Well, yeah, that was the next day. I went to the doctor's. I was like, all right, I need to do something.
Yeah, you were like sleep. You would sleep for like a couple hours, wake up for like a little bit, then go right back to sleep. It was like from like 7 p.m. to like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, sucked.
And I was like, man, I could tell he's sick.
Yeah, this is probably besides my sinuses ever like swelling up. This is the sickest I've ever been. But Dan.
But I got the new Saints Row, and I've been enjoying it. I think I'm almost done with it. So
watching you play. Cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
You also played Call of the Lamb.
Call to the Lamb, yeah. I enjoyed that. Kind of interesting, the whole Twitch integration for that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. But that Saints Row looks pretty good. You described it as what, a mix of 2 and 3?
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty good mix between like Saints Row 2 and Saints Row the Third, just because it's like you starting up your own gang, which is just the Saints, like the other games. And that was kind of like, I feel like the big point of the second game. Yeah, and then it kind of has your main character kind of with the same mindset as like the third, where they're kind of like super cocky. They're kind of like a psychopath, where they're just like, yeah, I just want to go kill these people because why not? I'm in a gang. Let's just kill all these people. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Saints Row's kind of gotten like weird because like the first 2 games are like more serious and like set up, and then 3.
Yeah, I mean, the second one, I would say the second one starts getting into the little bit wacky, of the weird. Yeah, but not as much. Not as much as like
the third. And the third one's like, all right, we're instead of just dipping our toes in, we're gonna go knee deep.
Isn't the third one the one that you can open up with like the giant dildo? And you can start beating people up with a giant dildo like right at the beginning.
I don't know
if it's
the
like
beginning part.
I think if you
that's the one whenever you guys start becoming like icons and you guys are like movie actors, like all that.
You have that like actor join your group after the whole guts or GAT thing, and then you're like a CEO, like you're rich as fuck, like off the start. And then
I mean, you're kind of rich, but you're in a new city, so it's like you don't really have like your resources.
Yeah, but
that's the one where you get like captured, and then you're like in the in the airplane going to like Steelport.
Yeah.
I never played any of those games.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're like
they're lots of fun.
I played 2 like co-op back in the day.
They're like a wacky GTA kind of.
The first one's not is like wacky. It was like GTA with like ragdoll physics.
Yeah,
that was like the
first one was like trying to be real serious.
Yeah, you actually got jumped in the game. They like walk up and you're like, "Hey guys, what's up?" They beat the shit out of you in like a circle, and
yeah.
And then it started to get like 2 stays, in
that
realm.
Same like realm, but a little bit
like
more
weird, goofy missions of like spraying shit on like you drive that like septic truck and like spray shit at houses and stuff.
Yeah. There's zombies.
Yeah.
That's how you know the game's off the rockers. They had zombies.
But yeah. And then the fourth one, you're in a simulation because aliens blew up the world.
And you were like president. Yeah.
And you're the president, and then you take out the head alien guy of that force.
Yeah.
And then Gat out of hell, you play as Johnny Gat in hell, and then you become at the end you can pick between becoming like the ruler of hell or leaving and going back to Earth or starting a new timeline, which is what Agents of Mayhem is supposed to be.
Yeah, then like end of 3, like the very end's like they shoot a movie. And it's
Yeah.
what the
It's like,
fuck
oh,
is going on?
This was all just a movie.
Yeah, we're in space.
Lauren, you got anything?
Like new that's going on or what?
Yeah, like any gaming news, anything you've been playing?
No, still playing the Office game on my phone. I don't think I've been playing anything else, technically. I played a little bit of East online when that was still going on, but they're done with the beta right now. And then I started school. That's what I need to work on today. Yeah, that's about it. I just have a lot on my plate right now. That's all.
All right. Well, I had fun having this little extra time at the end of this episode, but I think it's time for us to install the next game and get ready for the next episode. So thank you for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Later.